Isaac Friend, welcome to the Popko Project Podcast. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And that last name, man, I've never heard the last name Friend before.
Yeah, I have not either. I've never met another. Maybe one day.
Like I said, one of a kind.
Yeah.
And you are from Richmond, Virginia, correct?
Yep. Yep. Richmond, Virginia.
And you came across my Instagram feed with a song called Slow Moments.
Yeah.
And I was just like blown away. And I'm like, this guy is incredible. That voice, amazing. And I figured, you know what? I'm gonna hit him up and see if he'll give me some time. So I'd
Yeah,
love to
man.
share, with my listeners and my viewers a little bit about you. So thank you again for doing this.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I feel like you just kind of popped up out of nowhere. I mean, is that accurate? I mean, have you been at this for a while? But I feel like at least that song, that video, that Instagram clip, that kind of.
I mean, I've been playing since I was a kid. I've been playing since I was 15. I started on clarinet when I was in sixth grade, and then I switched to drums, and then drums was like my obsession and my first instrument. And played that forever. Played in bands from the time I was like 17 until, I was like 30, and I'm in my mid 30s now. I'm 37 now. So I've been playing ever since. But yeah, it wasn't really until I started this past year or so, like going under my name. Like I'd been in a couple other groups. I was in a duo called Hound Heart. It was me and a partner of mine, Allie Walls, and it was just one guitar and two vocals, and that was great. But I had a few other bands that I fronted and played drums in the rest of them. And I don't want to say I didn't take it seriously, but I don't think I had taken it seriously. And
Right.
I just said, I've always been satisfied with writing songs and having them to myself and completing them and maybe recording them well, maybe just having them saved in a voice memo and added to a catalog. I've just been collecting a catalog for years, and I'm for the first time, I guess. So yeah, kind of out of nowhere, I'm just starting to do it seriously and put music out and share it with people, and put a record out. Made a record this past year, and
Nice.
so I've been doing it forever, but I haven't been sharing it forever. So,
That's kind of what I figured. I figured, you don't just pick up a guitar last week and then, put out the stuff you've been putting out. But it feels like, you kind of started taking it seriously. What kind of prompted that? Like, what made you decide, like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna really hunker down and write these songs and record them and kind of share them with us?
I mean, I think it was a culmination of a lot of years of wanting to do so, but not really being in a position to do so, or waiting for like the perfect time or like the right circumstances to line up. And it just never happened. And, I'm a dad, and I had a kid really young, I was 20, and it's been me and him for the last like 5 years, and he's a teenager. And so I've been writing. I work, full time. I'm a roofer, but I just write obsessively. Like I write while I'm on a roof. I write in my truck. I write in my car. I write in my house. I cancel plans to write. And I just have been building this catalog that I can't afford to record all of, but I've made a record, got like 14 songs that I'm really, really proud of. And I think just being a single dad and working a lot, I've just either made excuses for myself as to why I can't do this, or just been, I don't know, afraid to do it, or afraid of the failure, afraid of the success. And I just said, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to start making songs. I'm not going to think about the industry. I'm not going to think about doing this professionally at all. I just want to make good music, have it. So, if I die, there's something to put on Spotify, essentially.
Well, that's
So,
something that's something special, like having something to leave behind. Because that's one thing I think is amazing about being someone creative in general. Like you have that piece of you that will live on forever.
yeah. And it's really funny you say that, because for a couple of years, I wanted to call the album Something to Leave Behind.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I was like, that's pretty emo. And a buddy of mine was like, dude, that's emo as shit. I was like, all right, yeah. Yeah, I guess maybe. Sure.
I
But
don't know.
Yeah. And even if it is, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well,
So
one of my questions was going to be, can we expect an album? So
yeah,
I'm happy to hear that.
yeah. Right now, so I just, um, I've had a lot of the moving parts kind of coming together over the last 6 months. Really, well, I'm so bad with time, since like September, um, with having people like finally able to help me and kind of getting a team together. And I got this company who's going to be distributing this record, so we're going to start with like singles at first, and there's a few that are already up. One of the tracks, Great Big Wall, is one that I recorded in Denver when I was living out there with a buddy of mine. And so I left that one up. And then I put out Arrival in August, I think, and then Slow Moments a few months ago. But there's 13 more, and I'm going to be back in the studio in a couple of weeks, just banging out like two at a time. My buddy Michael York from Sleepwalkers, brilliant producer. He just happens to live in Richmond and be a good friend of mine. And my bass player, Connor Downtown Danger Brown, just moved here from Denver. We played in a band out there. And I was doing like session work and the house drummer for, some bar gigs here and there out there. Yeah, he just moved here. So putting a band together and going to be back in the studio, just recording more stuff, like without, the plan right now is just to put out singles, push singles. And, I'll probably be doing I've got a booking agent who's going to be helping me do some solo touring this summer. But a lot of this stuff is new, man. Like, I've played music my whole life, but doing it within the industry is something that's pretty new to me. And I've learned a lot about it over the last year. And a big part of it is, my son's about to be 17, and a lot of the stuff I hadn't done because it wasn't really conducive to, being a full-time dad. And the last couple of years, he's been giving me shit for not doing it.
Yeah.
And
That's cool.
So that excuse is kind of out the door. And now I'm kind of doing it for more reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does he think about your music?
Man, I can't. He loves my music. I can't believe. I feel so lucky to be able to say that. Yeah, and we play music together too. He's a guitar player.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's the coolest. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, being a dad is like one of the coolest things that I've been honored to be. So I can appreciate where you're coming from.
Yeah. How many kids you have?
I have two. I have
Yeah.
I have a 7-year-old boy and a 2.5-year-old daughter.
Oh, those are cool ages.
Yeah, they're it's wild. They between their schedules and my wife's schedule, all of my free time has been monopolized. That's why I do this podcast at night at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
When all the the important stuff is done. The homework is done, the baseball practice is over, the books before bed, bath time, homework, all of it's
Yeah,
done.
dude.
So
Dude, yeah, baseball season. Yeah, baseball season. I'm at the field like 4 days a week with my son, and I'm always like, God, I'm going to be at the field all the time now. It's like going to dominate the week. But I honestly, man, I kind of love it.
yeah,
It's a good time. It's a good time.
time management is key as a parent.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, my whole life is like color coded in my Google Calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said you're a single dad too, so that's like that's could be even more of a challenge.
Yeah, it will. But he's about to be 17 in a couple of months, and be driving, and
Yeah.
he's been a lot more independent. And his mom is here now, and it's a lot of circumstances have come together to make it possible for me to do this.
Good.
In whatever degree. I don't have any delusions of grandeur, I guess. I'd love to get in front of audiences, and I'd love to get the record out to people and get it in the hands of people who might enjoy it, as much as I did writing and recording it.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to, man. It's too
Yeah,
good to not.
it's the thing. Yeah. And with my job is pretty flexible too. So like everybody in my company is, always kind of asking me why I'm not doing it full time. And I'm like, I don't have time to explain the industry to you guys. It's kind of brutal, and I like stability, but
Yeah.
it's what I've always wanted to do since I was like 14, and it's what I'll do. But yeah, it's just been a long time coming.
Yeah. Well, in the industry, like I keep saying, it's a different animal. I mean, um, as far as social media is concerned, obviously that's a big part of being a musician and getting your stuff out there. And again, I mean, are you doing that on your own? Because again, like that fell into my algorithm, I guess you could say, out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I've just been doing it on my own, like mostly at my house. I think for the longest time, I just been overthinking it and, expecting everything to be, a Pablo Picasso. Uh, and it's just, I was just overthinking it. And I have a friend who manages social media for a couple of companies, and she had been helping me just kind of wrap my mind around like how it all worked and to not take it so seriously, and try to post more often, because before I was posting so infrequently. And um yeah, so I just started posting more. I mean, that's it, just recording videos of me playing, behind the scenes stuff at the studio, some goofy shit, kind of having fun with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been since like August or September, I think. Yeah.
It's a weird thing, right? Because you have to be constantly active, and I struggle with that myself. Just as far as it's like what do you put out? Like I'll take this and I'll cut it into clips and and reels and stuff like that, and but I still feel like it's not enough. So it's just
Yeah.
constantly like, what do you post? Like what's relevant? It's a challenge.
Yeah, it is. It's like, if I think about it in the context of music, like with music, I'm very adamant about writing and recording things and producing things the way that I want and the way that I hear it and the way that I feel it, and don't really much care what, I don't think from an audience's perspective when I'm writing or recording. But I realize, like, when I'm doing it with Instagram, like, why do I, the views and the likes and stuff like that, it can be really alluring. It can really like lock you in, when you get um like engagement or viewership or whatever, and that you're like, oh well, that's awesome, that feels great. And then when it plummets back to where it was before, you're like, oh shit, now I need to get back to that space that I was at. And it's this like vicious cycle. But all in all, I think the primary objective for me is to just try to be real and just keep posting stuff to keep folks interested and get it in the hands of folks who enjoy it as much as I do, so I can just be stoked with them.
Well,
I've
you're doing
got
a great job. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
Even like
thank you.
the roofing stuff, you're it's fun.
Yeah,
It's fun.
yeah, my little shadow wave stuff every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friends make fun of me for it, but I'll never stop doing it.
Well, that's the and we're close in age. I'm a little older than you are, but like that wasn't like being in front of a camera to me is like, and like, or like even holding the phone and taking a video of myself. It's just very bizarre to me. Like if I was like maybe 8 years younger, that might be like normal place. But to do that, it's very awkward for me to do.
Yeah, it is for me too. I have to, when I hear like iPhone recordings of my voice, sometimes I'll be like, ugh. And then sometimes I'll be like, nice. And it
Yeah.
really varies. And the same thing was with visual stuff. And it's just try not to take it so seriously.
Yeah.
Is this wind getting any interference with your,
Not really.
in the audio?
I don't
Okay,
think
cool.
so. Not yet.
Yeah.
Is
With
it
my
windy
super
there?
profesh setting right now.
Well, it's funny. This is not a knock on you. When I started this is dating back to December of 2020. I launched this, and I had a radio show. It kind of got put on hiatus because the station format flipped, and I was doing a podcast as part of it. And then, like I said, the show got put on hiatus. So I was like, I got to keep going with something. So I was like, I'll just keep talking to musicians. And since it's all online, audio is obviously an important part of that. And I'm like, well, I'll be talking to musicians. They'll have like good microphone setups. And out of the 200 and out of the
It's
223 that I've recorded or released, maybe six of them
it's so true, dude.
have come with like mine's always better than theirs. It's funny,
Yeah.
but
I think it's better that way.
It's
Yeah,
more,
not better this way, but I love your setup. Yeah,
it's authentic, like it's
yeah,
real. I'm catching you in real life.
yeah. Also, the audio of your vocals is so crisp and clear. I love it.
Good, good.
Yeah. So used to like FaceTiming my dad and like can barely understand what he's saying.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
It's like walking through the wind with just like blowing through and he's like trying to tell me a story. Yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, man.
But you have 3 songs that are released and are available on Spotify. I was hoping we could talk about those
Yeah.
ahead of the release of an album, hopefully this year. But Slow Moments. Let's start with that one.
Yeah.
It's acoustic. That was the song. I mean, all 3 of them are great. I think I like Slow Moments, and Great Big Wall, and then Arrival, like in order of what I like the most. But that song, I mean, your voice is incredible. Talk about that song and what it's about, if you don't mind. I know sometimes musicians don't like to talk about what the song's about because they want to leave it open for interpretation to the listener. But if you are able to, I'd love to hear what it's about.
Yeah. That's true. Like sometimes I have a very concrete idea of what a song is about. And sometimes I write it and then I figure out what it's about later. And then I can kind of refine it from the perspective that I realized I was writing it from, if that makes any sense. With Slow Moments, I wrote it in maybe a day or two, which is so annoying because I've got songs that I've thought were my magnum opus and they take me years of putting them away and picking them back up. And then I'm playing them. I'm like, hell yeah, it's done. And I, send them to my trusted tribe of musician friends and non-musician friends. And they're like, yeah, that's good. I'm like, fuck you guys. I worked so hard on this. But that one I just wrote in a day. And I think sometimes the more honest ones, I try to be very honest in all my songs. I think that it took me a long time to be fully transparent in them. And that's when they started getting better, like less flowery. And, I was younger, I was trying to like wax poetic all the time. And can you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that.
Okay. It's like people fighting. And Slow Moments, I think it's just about, sometimes you get in that slump and you get that self-doubt and you get this feeling of, I don't know, disillusioned with life a little bit. And, in moments where you're feeling really confident and have a good lease on everything and then having that little slump. I don't know if I was even feeling that at the time, honestly. Like sometimes I will have a conversation with a friend or I'll remember something or hear a song or see a movie and it triggers some sort of memory for me. And like the way that I process a memory or an experience or a conversation, it just kind of comes out in this form. Like I think in song form in an annoying way sometimes. Like I'll have like the same phrase just like repeat over and over and over into my head until I can like write it down. And yeah, I just had slow moments just like going around and I was like, all right, well, I got to get this out before it drives me insane. And so I sat down and I wrote the lyrics out to this chord progression that I had written. It's very simple. It's just E minor, C, G major with 7 without the third, and an F. I was like, all right, well, this is cool. I'm just going to write something simple around it and nobody will hear it. And that's fine. Like, that's the perspective. I just try to write as though no one will ever hear it. And of course, it's the one that people have heard the most. So, yeah, I feel like I'm rambling a little bit, but yeah, it's kind of just about the self-doubt and imposter syndrome, which I tend to feel sometimes. Like, even I put that even into the song of like feeling like because I was able to write that song and write it so quickly, like it must not be good because I could do that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people that I've spoken to, primarily artists and people with different brains, they have had that same experience. So it was cool to kind of to hear it connect with people. I've had so many. I recorded that in my friend Evan's apartment that he had just moved into with one microphone into his computer and through Logic and an acoustic take of it. And I was just like, fuck it. need to start putting stuff out and stop overthinking it. And so I just put that out, and it did well, and people really connected with it, and it just felt so cool. And my inbox, which is normally desolate, it's just been exploding, and I was having to dedicate parts of my day, and still do. It's been a while since I've released the last one, so it's dwindled, but for a long time, just meeting people and hearing people's stories and connecting with folks about how that song connected with them. And it was just so cool. I think that's the best part of it, is just hearing how it's connected with people. I know I keep saying connected a lot, but it's real. And
Yeah.
that's been the best part of it. So that's inspired a lot of what makes me want to keep putting other music out, even though I wanted to anyway. Just imposter syndrome, self-doubt, like sometimes being like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, do I deserve this? Am I good enough to do this? What does that even mean? What is the end goal here? Oh, there isn't one. Well, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Just all that stuff when you're not really sure. And then other days I feel like king shit. And then it goes back down like all the time. It just,
I can't hear it, so don't worry about it.
all right.
Well, I think a lot of people who create, and people, I have a lot of respect for people who are creative and musicians and things like that. And people are like, oh, well, you're doing it. Because I'm not a musician at all. I've never been able to play anything. If you ask me to write a song, I'd fail miserably. They're like, but you're creating right now. And I'm just like, I guess. But like, so I nothing that I do, I feel is very important. Or
I disagree very strongly. There's a lot of moving parts to this puzzle. We as artists, we can do only but so much by ourselves. And like, obviously, like the industry things like management and booking agents and sync licensing and, whatever else goes into it, marketing and labels and development. And there's all these moving parts of like people having a vested interest in an artist as like a revenue generator or a product or something to invest into. There's that. But for me, and as pretentious as it sounds, man, like since I was a teenager, and especially having a teenager right now and watching the way that music influences him and inspires him, and he and I both have our AirPods in like for the majority of the day, except we like connect in the living room or the kitchen and, set aside. I try to be pretty intentional about like stopping him in his tracks and like making him sit down and hang out with me for a minute. And he's listening to a lot of the music that I did when I was younger. And I remember how much that impacted me, like Nirvana, the Smashing Pumpkins. I remember my first record, 311, everything, Oasis, Bob Dylan, Leonard Cohen, like the whole gamut. And with him, it's such a mirror to kind of remind me of like why I do it now and like why he's doing it now. And I realize I'm trailing off from the original question. Remind me.
we were just talking about like kind of feeling like anything you do isn't really important.
No, man, like what you do is so important because there's people who are going to find me because of what you're doing. And they might
cool.
feel the way that my son feels when he listens to music, or the way that I felt when I listened to music. And it's different now. Like when you and I were growing up, we had to rely on what record labels were feeding radio stations.
Mm-hmm.
And before, I think it was Clinton, the Telecommunications Act, I think of 1996, when radio stations started being consolidated and owned by larger conglomerates. Like before, people could call into radio stations and recommend stuff, and more radio station regions like had more control over what they wanted to play. And then that stopped. And like when we were growing up, we heard what was on MTV and VH1 and Fuse and XL 102 and whatever other radio station. And now there's so much out there and we're all free to expose it to everybody as much as we want. But swimming and like wading through this amount of art and media out here there's so much, and it just takes people like you to take a minute of your time, and you know you've got a family and kids, but there would be no, I don't know if I'm being very articulate, but your job allows me to do my job, which now, as much as I struggle to consider this a job, I know that it is, and I have to dedicate a lot of time to it. You know, after my job, you know, you and I are in the same position. We're parents after work doing what we're doing. And, you know, I don't lose sight of that, but people wouldn't hear of me. There's a population of people who wouldn't hear of me and maybe feel something when they listen to my music if you weren't telling them about it. So
well, yeah,
reframe that shit, dude.
Yeah, no, I know. And there's days that I'm like, yeah, man, this is awesome. People, you get caught up in the, you know, the views and the comments and the YouTube subscriptions and things like that. Yeah. It's like, man, why am I? Like, do people even care?
Yeah, dude, I think about it every day.
I also started because like I wasn't doing it for any other reason other than just for me. Because I mean, I'm not a musician myself, but I love music. I remember growing up, my mom and dad blasting music in the house. Like you said it before, like there's such an amazing thing about music that connects all of us together, and you know can take you from feeling one way and then feeling a completely different way. It's just like it's like a universal language, right? And it's just like it's so important. And I just wanted to, like, this was like my avenue of forcing my way into music.
Yeah.
To a degree, you know? So there's days I feel great, and there's days I'm like, oh man, why am I even, is this even important? Do people care?
Dude, yeah. But, yeah, that's, you're kind of describing slow moments, man. Like that answers your question.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. Maybe I didn't do it the right way, but yeah,
No, you did.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's hard, and I always just hope that people do tune in, and at least if they don't listen to the whole thing, at least maybe they're like, okay, I gotta check out Isaac Friend, and they go to your Spotify or whatever. If that's all they do, fuck it. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm happy if it's just one person. You know, it's one person. That's awesome. I was watching this video yesterday, just like a random TikTok video. This guy who was talking about Doechii, the rapper out now. She had been vlogging for like years, like every day documenting her life of just doing different shit and just trying all kinds of different stuff. She just wanted to like make it in some way, and she didn't even really know what she wanted to do. And like nobody watched this stuff. Nobody cared. And then eventually she kind of figured it out and got noticed. And yeah, I think consistency is key, I think, in all of these things. And I've always struggled with that, you know, call it ADHD, being busy, being distracted, procrastinating. Like if there's anything I've learned, that consistency is everything. And it's hard to do that sometimes when you're not really seeing a concrete result, you know, in any period of time. So I don't know if you feel that way too.
Yeah, you just got to show up.
Yeah.
And I started going to the gym back in like August, and honestly, I didn't think I would make it past week 6. And it's 6 months, and it's like, yeah, you see, like, you show up every day, and like you see the results, and it's a point of the story is just show up, and you know, be consistent.
Yeah, the gym thing is so real. I'm such a seasonal gym guy, but like my job is pretty physical,
right?
So there's that, but it's not as dynamic as, like, I should probably be going to the gym, but
you should do
I get enough. But when I do, man, it feels so good. Like once you start going, you're like, oh, this like sucks. And then you like learn what to do. And then you get in like a mode of doing it. And you're like, okay, now I know what I'm doing. And now I'm seeing results, and now I feel good.
Yeah,
like, both because I'm like following through. I
still hate it. Still hate it every morning. And I have to go in the morning. I'm up at like 5:30, and I go to the gym before the day starts because I'll get the workout in and get home before the rest of the family is even up. and it's right home. It's
Brother.
feed the kids. It's get them ready. My wife will get our daughter ready. I'll get my son ready. Get myself ready. It's the whole thing, and it just doesn't stop until sometimes 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, 5:30. That's impressive, man.
It
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, I get another hour. Yeah.
That's
That's
an extra hour. That's everything.
yeah, for real. For real, man. Well,
Yeah.
much respect to that. Much respect.
Thanks. Yeah. My off days it's nice, but
For
so
sure.
we talked about slow moments. Great Big Wall is my second favorite. Another great song.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
What's that all about?
Um, I'm trying to figure out what details to go into. It's to be totally honest, I wrote it so long ago that I'm kind of like I've got to like rack my memory up, like the perspective that like what inspired that really. I think as a generalization, it's about being in a relationship that you want to work out, but it just won't for whatever reason. Being avoidant or wanting different things, and how complicated and frustrating and difficult and painful that can be. And yeah, I don't know exactly what inspired it, to be honest. I wrote that one about, God, 7 years ago, and I was drinking a fair amount at the time. I've been So there's a lot of context lost on older songs because I wrote them in a period where I was still, you know, having a good time until it wasn't a good time.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been sober for about 5.5 years now.
Well,
So
congrats.
looking back to thanks, man, to the inspiration for some songs, like some of it is very clear and concrete, and some of it's a little fuzzy, you know. um, but yeah, a relationship gone awry at the time.
Well, I
But
think,
yeah,
I'm not saying people should go out and, alter their minds with whatever substances, but like, I mean, think of the music that we got out of the 70s and shit like that. Like, that was obviously
yeah, dude,
drug
yeah.
fueled, there's something
I'm not
definitely
knocking it.
behind
Yeah,
that where you kind of, whether it's like it helps like let your guard down or makes you stop thinking too much about something or whatever. Again, I'm not saying people should, you know, substance abuse in order to create, but I think there's something that's definitely something to it.
yeah. It's different for everybody. Like I thought that when I like stopped with, I've gone through periods where I like stop, smoking weed or drinking or doing whatever, and that it would affect. But yeah, like you said, like when we were growing up, like it was just the romanticizing of like drug abuse and alcoholism as like this fuel for creativity and like rock stardom. You know, that's been tied to a lot of us for a long time. So I thought like when I quit, I was like, well, I guess there goes like my creative writing, there goes my edge. And then I started writing songs that were just as good and then better just because had passed and I wasn't, recovering all the time. And so I could invest more time into it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, once again, I think I'm diverting from your original question. I can't even remember what you asked.
No, we were just talking about the song "Great Big Wall," but it's
Yeah.
funny. Like, I always consider, like, especially like now that I'm in the gym and I'm getting older, so I like there's times I've considered like I'm just gonna quit drinking. I don't drink a lot, so it's like not that it would be like a big deal. But then I get home and after a
Yeah.
long day of work and the kids are running around the house and the dog is doing
Yeah.
whatever, I'm like, nah, not today.
Yeah, dude. Same. Yeah,
Not
it's
today.
so real. That's so real.
My wife,
Yeah.
we joke about it in the house. And I'm like, well, I, yeah, not today.
Yeah. I feel that. I feel that.
But and one more song you have out there on Spotify is "Arrival," and you said that
Yeah.
was kind of your first release.
Yeah, that was my first release from for the record. Um, I'm considering this my first album. I had made some tracks with some friends in Denver and put them up on Spotify, and I had left Great Big Wall up when I took the others down. And Arrival was the first one I put out. I wasn't expecting to do that, but Radio WV, this YouTube channel, found me, and they filmed 5 videos with me, and they put one of them out, and it was for a video of me playing Arrival in the woods on a piano that they had gotten and dragged out into the woods, and they came with a film crew and sound guy to record me doing it out there. So I was like, well, shit, I should put that out since this is the video that's coming out. And that's really what sparked like any amount of attention that I was getting in the beginning was that video, and then putting Arrival out from the record and like putting that on Spotify. And then I was like, well, I guess now's the time to get the ball rolling, you know? And it's just a straight up love song. Just a straight up love song.
It's also a good first release. It's your Arrival.
Yeah. You know, what's funny is I had not even considered that connotation until after it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When can we expect some more music from you?
So the next
plan?
singles, yeah. So I think there's going to be a few singles, and then I'm debating on whether I want to release it as a couple of EPs or as a single album. My buddy Michael had produced about 7 of the songs. My friend Austin had done about 3, and then the other 3 I had done in my friend's apartment, just guitar and vocal. So I think the next plan is a couple more like acoustic tracks, and then start pulling out the produced tracks once, you know, I've got these guys that are going to help me distribute these songs, and we're trying to figure out a plan right now. So it's been stagnant for the last month just while we get that together. But I think in a few weeks, I've got a song, either Olivia or a song called Pay Me No Mind. I think will be one of the 2 that'll be coming out first. And I'd like to put more than one out at a time. So going to throw another one out there, see what it does, and then start rolling more stuff out.
Now, is releasing an album important to you? Like in a world that, you know, it's constantly just singles?
Yeah. Like if it were up to me, I'd like put a record out and have somebody just like put a bunch of money behind it and start pushing it. But, you know, even when we were growing up, you know, there was singles coming out on MTV, you know, there was single songs at a time, and it would lead you to the album, but you had to buy the album. You know, I had to go to the record store and put a CD on and ask the guy behind the counter if I could like wear the headphones to listen to it before I bought it. And
what a cool experience though. Like it kind of bums me
I
out
wouldn't
that
trade it.
Yeah. It like this whole, I mean, this digital age is such a cool thing, right? Like I love the fact that, you know, I can get a song from you, you know, 1 month, then I'm getting another song from you in you know, 4 to 6 weeks later. That's awesome, right? But like,
yeah,
I just remember, you know, you have to wait 2 years between albums from your favorite artist, but like, it was just more memorable. Like there was more anticipation behind it. There was like so much, like you're saying, you walk into a record store and you know, a song's playing over the speakers, and you're like, who is this? And you go ask the guy behind the desk, like, who is this? And they tell you who it is, and it's like I would just go buy it, like on the whim. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like honestly, if it were up to me, I would just put out the entire record, but because it all goes together thematically, like the songs are all important to be there together. So that is a frustrating part of releasing singles as singles. Is like it's like putting out movie scenes one at a time and then putting out the movie. It's kind of like what it feels like to me, but
right.
Like strategically, I've been told, and also makes sense to kind of parse it out a little bit at a time and try to get, you know, build a followership or a fan base or whatever with each little thing, so that by the time the big thing comes out, there's more eyes on it already.
Yeah.
But yeah, this album, man, I'm like unbiased. It's really good, and I'm really excited about it. I just want it to be out now. I just want to get it out now. Like been sitting on it for like 2 years, honestly, and it's just been trying to figure out a plan.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine
I've written
that.
2 albums since then. Like,
oh wow.
Like, yeah, I've written 2 records since then.
I hear that a lot. Everyone I talk to is like, oh yeah, we have a record coming out or EP coming out like this Friday. I say, okay, cool. Like what's next? Oh, I already have like 2 more ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't recorded most of recorded some for the next record, but just been like a writing frenzy in the meantime, especially in the winter when, there's days where it's too cold to be roofing, and so I'll just be inside writing or dicking around or you know, gathering fodder to write about, you know, unintentionally or intentionally.
Do you have to pull from like real life experiences to write songs, or are you able to kind of maybe embellish certain things, or paint these pictures with words and music, or how does that work for you?
It's all founded in reality. Um, but yeah, it's all real. Like if there's something I'm singing about, it's all real. Like sometimes I'll write from other people's perspectives, or sometimes like a song could be an amalgamation of the experiences of a few people. Like I've got one I'm writing right now that's written from a close friend of mine's perspective as well as mine, within the context of our friendship, like knowing each other over the years and like sobriety being a part of that. But it's kind of indistinguishable and sounds like it's from a singular person. Like I write about other people, I write from other people's perspectives a lot. Like I'll have people tell me wild stories. Like I have a song that I just wrote from somebody DMing me, basically their life story. I mean, it wasn't just out of nowhere. Like
Yeah.
we were talking about music, and then it just ended up being this long story that I found very inspiring, and not intending to. I was just messing around with this like alternate tuning on my guitar, and I started playing this chord progression, and then again that circular word pattern came about, and it was it was 4:30 a.m. and or no 4 a.m. And then ended up writing that entire song in a day, on like a rainy day when I was at home from work. And I think growing up, like all the songs were like deeply personal and about me and about all the things going on in my life, and like they're, after a while, that doesn't feel challenging anymore. And I like to write from other people's perspectives a lot, as well as my own. And it can come from all kinds of places. Like anytime I try to like think about this, like my writing process, I don't even really know, man. I don't even know.
I wish I could do that.
All of it's real. Like it's not. I don't do a whole lot of trying to imagine what it would. I don't even know if that's true. I don't want to like pontificate on something and then like on record say something untrue, and then later on be like, oh no, actually it's like totally different than what I said. I don't.
No one's watching. No one's watching. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, right. Not yet.
Oh, I wish I could do that. And if I were to try, it would definitely have to be like personal or something that happened and all that kind of stuff. But I think that also it's like, we're all going through the same sorts of things, right? It's a crazy
Yes.
world. Like, and it's so nice to be able to like have songs that are relatable when you hear them. Not only they good musically, but also like lyrically. It's something that people can relate to.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing that's most inspiring is, I think, thinking from the lens of what people want to hear can really, in my experience, kind of dilute the final product, because you're trying to relate to everyone and you can't really do that. So by being honest and singular, I found that it's been most connective with the people who need to hear it.
Yeah.
Like I need to write it, I need to say it, I need to play it and sing it and record it. And just every time I've done that, there's been an audience for it, and it's a very driving force to do that.
Yeah. I mean, there's gonna be. I mean, there's too many of us not to relate in some form.
Yeah, I can be like, man, things are so rad, life is so awesome, I'm so grateful, here's a song. Man, things suck so bad, things are shitty, it's hopeless, here's a song. Oh, I'm in love, she's incredible, here's a song. Oh, we broke up, it's torturous, I'm in hell, here's a song. Here's a funny thing I saw or a funny observation, here's a song. It's just, it just comes from different places. Like,
Yeah.
all the songwriters that I know and all the artists that I know, music, visual or otherwise, it's kind of the same for all of us. And I love hearing that. So many people message me about their process and ask me about mine, and a lot of visual artists, a lot of musicians, a lot of tattoo artists, a lot of people who are just like deeply interested and invested in music as consumers and listeners, and people who experience it. And yeah, it's cool to get context like that.
And I always
Anyway,
wonder too, like musicians, like, is the headspace they're in important, right? Like, think about if you are happy all the time, is that like good? Like, unless you're writing a pop song for like young kids, like, yeah, but it like one of my favorite artists is Blue October.
yeah,
And I still like his current stuff, but when he was like, not that I wanted to see him down and out and going through the shit he was going through, but like
no, I
some
know
of
what you mean.
his best music came out of those times, you know?
Yeah, that's real though. That's
Yeah.
so true. And that's why I was worried about like getting better, like when I wasn't doing as well. It's like, shit, is my music going to suffer because of this? But it's just a varied perspective. It's just
Yeah.
a different place,
Yeah.
being in a different place.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
You mentioned before some of your favorite artists. That was one of my questions. You mentioned Nirvana, I think it was, Smashing Pumpkins. Who are some of your other favorites?
I mean, yeah, those are all the staples. I think I think we'd all say like the same ones, but I think my earliest songwriting influence was probably Neil Young. Like when I was growing up, my parents are big audiophiles, and there was always music on. Like at any given time, the record player was on and something was playing. Bob Dylan, Leonard Cohen. Um, I always blank. I always have like a million band names running through my head, and then the second I'm asked about them. Tom Petty, the Wallflowers, Janis Joplin, Joni Mitchell, Cat
His,
Stevens, Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, the Byrds. The Beatles were a massive part of growing up. My parents loved the Stones. I never got into the Stones. I'm going to get flamed for that. Anytime I say that for a chosen audience, I say that too. I respect it. I get it. Like I totally get it. I just never hit my vibe, but all kinds of stuff. And then, rap in the 90s and the early 2000s, like
so good.
I was heavy into like Mobb Deep, and I remember like when Cash Money Millionaires first came out, I was like super into Lil Wayne and Aesop Rock and a lot of the underground guys who were doing stuff back then. Then I had like a jam band phase, and I was listening to a lot of Fish and Grateful Dead. Then I got over that. And one common band I've listened to my entire life, that was Deftones.
Nice.
And singularly, I'd say one of my top 5 favorite bands of all time. Maybe in top 3,
Okay.
maybe top 2.
Number one. Number one.
Maybe number 1. Yeah. Yeah, and I love playing music like that, but it won't be on the record. No.
Right.
Yeah.
The band that I hate, that people don't understand why I hate them, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Really? Dude, I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day, actually. Hold on, let me plug my AirPods in.
Sure.
So, like now, I totally get that as it is now, but like when Blood Sugar Sex Magic came out, and when Californication, is it Californication?
Yeah.
Was the album? Those albums were so good. Like they were so fucking good. Like Chad Smith on drums, Flea on bass. John Frusciante is a brilliant guitar player, writer, arranger. He's so good and has a horrible heroin problem. So sometimes it goes hand in hand. But yeah, they're great. It's like when bands have been around for a really, really long time, like sometimes it just loses its luster.
Yeah.
Because there's this, I don't even necessarily think it's the element of youth so much as it is like the element of like authenticity of like making music from a place of necessity rather than as a place of like maintaining some continuity and something that already exists, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like when they first came out, like I haven't liked any of their albums after Californication, but
Yeah. I mean,
that album rips though.
Under the Bridge was, I mean, I like those songs, those early songs, but like, I don't know. I just kind of, even the album that came out was it '02 or '03.
Yeah, what was that called?
Oh,
It was like Galactic or like Stars or something like that. I can't remember.
actually, I'm thinking it's
Stadium Arcadium.
no, the one before that. Um,
I don't remember.
it was By the Way.
Oh, yeah, I
By
don't
the Way,
remember.
like Zephyr Song. By the Way was one of them. Can't Stop was one of them off that record.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think there was some good stuff on that record.
Yeah, I mean,
It just didn't
I don't
hit the
know.
same.
Yeah, Stadium Arcadium wasn't terrible. I don't know. I just kind of I don't know that. I
But
don't
I
know. It
get it,
just
dude. Like I'm not knocking the. I totally get it. Like that's how I felt about a lot of bands.
I'm also one of those guys that have like from day one been a huge Nickelback and Creed fan. That I got, they came out, they were huge, and then it was like not cool to like them, and I never wavered. I was always like, yeah, man, these are great bands, and now they're back.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why they're as huge as they are. You know, they've got to
Yeah,
have a fan base.
yeah. Well, Nickelback, I mean, they were good up until maybe 2008. Anything past that, I don't care for. But you
You know
know,
what's crazy, dude? Is Creed? Creed has made a huge comeback.
yeah, I know, I love
Yeah,
it.
like Gen Z's like super into Creed right now, and
Yeah,
I think unironically, which is awesome. I listened to an interview. I can't remember what podcast it was, but it was with the front man. I can't remember his name.
Scott
I want to say
Stapp,
Michael Stipe, but that's
Scott
that's
Stapp.
REM, Scott Stapp. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, it seems like a pretty chill dude. His story's pretty interesting.
Well, he's had a crazy life.
Yeah,
I mean, there
yeah,
was a time he was like, I forget, like delusional. It's
yeah,
crazy. Like he thought people were chasing him and shit like that. I think it was.
yeah. I
But
can't imagine like being at that level of stardom. That's insane. Like it, yeah, that must be wild.
I started
Yeah, and
watching
I
the,
think he had stalkers. I think he had stalkers too, from what I remember.
yeah, probably. I remember the Nickelback documentary came out. I have not finished watching it yet, but it was the first like 15 minutes were really good.
Oh, there's a documentary.
Oh yeah, yeah. Chad
I'll
Kroger's
watch it.
awesome. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
It's good. I have to
Well,
finish
trying
it.
to
I
learn
started
something.
watching it. My wife came in. She's like, "Oh, I wanted to watch that." I'm like, "Really? Really?" I said, "All right, I'll stop it and we'll watch it some other time." And never did.
Yeah, you'll get around to it.
One day, yeah, with all my free time.
Yeah, right. With all that free time you've got.
What do you do in your free time? It sounds like you don't have a lot of it, and maybe all your free time is consumed by writing music. But anything you got going on that's you do in your free time?
I kind of like I go through writing spurts. Like I'll write a lot, and then I'll be in this like writer's rut for a while, and I kind of just let it happen. Sometimes I get frustrated by that, but over the years I've learned to just occupy myself doing other stuff. Like, what do I do? Yeah, I play a lot of music. I don't really even go out that much. Like I've been trying to be more intentional about going to shows, but I haven't been doing that nearly as much as I'd like to. Um, yeah, I play drums at home. I've got a piano in my house. Like, move to my piano. Then I'll play my guitars, watch movies. I've got great friends. Like I hang out with my friends, and I've got a lot of friends out of town, like spread throughout the country that I stay in touch with, and try to be intentional about calling and talking to. And I've got a great family here. I hang out with my family a lot. My mom and stepdad, and my sister, and my brother, and their significant others. And my brother just had a baby. He's got a 1-year-old son, my nephew, and he's awesome. So I like being an uncle. It's pretty
Yeah,
rad. Yeah. So yeah, pretty normal stuff.
yeah.
Go bowling every now and then.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Pretty normal stuff.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I never mastered the hook.
Oh, dude, I suck at bowling. Bumpers all day.
My brother's actually a really good bowler. He's bowled a handful of 300s.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a hell of an achievement.
Yeah. I told him I think that if I ever did that, I'd probably quit. Like I've done it. I've done it. Like
It's like hitting a home run and you just never play baseball again.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had a 7-10 split once that I didn't even get to see.
Really? You had turned around already?
I threw it down and I was like, there's no way. And then like I just turned around and walked back to where my friends were. And I just saw them all go, holy shit, you did it. I'm like, no, I didn't see it.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So one more question for you. We'll wrap things up.
Yeah.
Actually, no, two. Have you ever heard of Steven Wilson Jr.?
Are you saying that because like you've seen me talk about him incessantly, or?
No, that's
Yeah.
it's a genuine question because I just recently found him, and I kind of hear you like your stuff along with his.
Dude, that's the coolest thing anybody said to me in a while. I've been obsessed with him all year. His record. Hold on, somebody's calling me. It's my bass player. Let me ignore that. All right. Are you there?
Yeah.
It's one of the best records I've heard in a while. His songwriting, like the Son of Dad, his song, I believe it's called Father Son. I have a song about my dad.
Yeah.
And it's in a similar vein. So when I heard that, it just really resonated with me. And I was like, man, I need to listen to the rest of this record. And it's just so fucking good. And my sister went and saw him recently play live in DC, I think. I think she saw him in DC. And she said it was fantastic. I'd love to catch him live. But yeah, that's really cool that you hear a similarity there. I think he's brilliant. I'm so glad he's getting the attention that he's getting right now because like I saw him like Bert Kreischer's podcast, and
Yes,
I think he's been on like Conan, and
yep.
It's just so cool to see. He's just such a authentic, genuine, humble dude. I just think he's brilliant. Yeah,
yeah.
That's cool.
So
I'm glad you've heard him.
yeah, so I try not to do any kind of like real research on people I interview because I want to kind of have it happen organically. So no, I've never heard you talk about him.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah,
I posted
found
about
that
it a bunch of times. I'm like, y'all need to listen to this record.
yeah, it's so good.
It's so good.
I think I've cried a couple times listening to Father Son. I lost my dad. It'll be 20 years in June. So yeah,
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, it's
20 years.
It's 20 years in June. Yeah. So another song came on. My aunt's going through some stuff that came on. I was crying to that one too.
Yeah, that song got me too, man. Yeah, it got me.
Yeah, I go to shows. I go to shows all the time and fucking tear up. It's like people probably think I don't know.
Fuck that, dude.
I'm happy.
It's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's just like this
about.
crazy thing. Like it'll like take me back to certain times of my life when I'm at shows. It's just like I'm just like in such a good place. Like it's not even like sad. Well, sometimes it's sad tears, right? Depending on the music, but like most of it's just like I'm just so happy to be there experiencing it. It's just like an incredible emotion.
It's what it's all about. I mean, to feel, it's all about. I know, like I've got a good song when I really feel it. And like, to be totally honest with you, man, like when I finish a song, I get like really emotional about it. Whether it could be like a really funny, like John Prine-esque cheeky song. And if I get emotional afterwards, I'm like, all right, well, it's done, because I just get really happy about having a completed piece of work, that I've worked on, and however long it's taken me, if it's a day or if it's a year or it's 5 years. Like the song Olivia that I'm putting out, I started writing actually the last night I ever drank. And ate some mushrooms that night and learned my buddy Jason Brazel, a phenomenal musician, who's out in Denver in his studio, and he was showing me this tuning, and we just were droning, playing this like just random chords and noodling around for like 5 hours. And I recorded it in voice memos on my phone, and I completely forgot about it. And I was on a plane. I can't remember where I was flying to, and I was going through them because there's no Wi-Fi. And I rediscovered it, and I was like, oh, that's great. I'm going to start working on that again. And then so I started working on it again. And then I got stuck in this place, and then I forgot about it. And I just started writing all these other songs. And then I was on a plane again, going somewhere else, and I rediscovered it again. And I was just sitting in the plane seat, and I was like, oh, that's the missing piece. And I think it's just because at the time I was going through what needed to be conveyed, like emotionally and lyrically, in that song, and finally got it done. But
That's awesome.
yeah, feeling. Yeah, it's all about feeling it. Even if it's like EDM, something that all the lyrics are the same, and it doesn't really matter because you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're just dancing or
Yeah.
jamming or whatever. But
Fun question. I'll let you go.
yeah.
An asteroid is coming to Earth. It's gonna hit the Earth. Like there's no Bruce Willis. There's no Will Smith to save us. It's going to hit. You have 5 days to live, and you could travel anywhere you wanted to in those 5 days. What are you doing in those 5 days?
It's a dangerous question. I don't know. I'd probably are there planes and is that stuff working?
Yeah, sure.
Probably fly out of the country. Maybe go to Spain. Just run around. I'd probably just run around Europe, honestly. Maybe go to Japan. I've always wanted to go to. Oh, I think one of my AirPods died. Am I back?
Yes.
All right. That's a good question. I'll have to think about that more.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I think I've gotten that question before and I didn't know how to answer it then either. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at work talking about that kind of stupid shit. I'm like, I should probably ask it on the podcast just for a random throwaway.
Yeah, you should. I need to have I need to think about that.
Yeah, I'm not a survivalist, so I pray that never happens because, especially with children,
Yeah.
it's what do you do, right?
There's not really a whole lot of options. I'd probably just honestly, realistically, in a dream scenario, I'd fly somewhere, but really I'd just be with my family.
Yeah.
As unfun as that answer is.
Yeah, I'd probably take my kids to Disney. Yeah, I'd probably take my kids to Disney, and just pretend like it's not happening for their sake,
Yeah.
But I'd also take one day just to do drugs.
Oh yeah, man, I'd probably relapse. I'd probably relapse.
It wouldn't matter. But
it wouldn't matter.
I've never really dabbled in that. I've smoked pot here and there, but yeah, just something I just was probably too scared to try that. So I just want to know what that's like. Yeah,
I mean, I think that's a good a time as any, considering it'd be the end of time.
Exactly. There's
on Earth at least.
What are you gonna do? So
yeah.
Well, Isaac, thank you so much for give me some of your time. I'm really excited to hear the new music. I love what you put out. I encourage anyone that made it this far into this, go stream your music on Spotify or Apple or whatever you stream music at. Where can people find you online?
I'm on Instagram. It's Isaac Friend is Alive. It's ISAAC Friend is Alive. So it's 1 S and 2 A's. It's very commonly misspelled. And same thing on TikTok. Isaac Friend on Spotify and Apple and YouTube and Amazon and all that good stuff. And that's, yeah.
You're on TikTok too?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok. I'm not as active. I don't have the same followership on TikTok, but I love perusing. I love scrolling through TikTok.
Yeah, it's a big time suck.
Dude, it is. I try to be productive with it and follow songwriters and producers and engineers and stuff, but sometimes it's just people doing dumb shit that makes me laugh.
Dude, people are so funny. I wish I had just an ounce of some of their.
Some of the stuff is so stupid and so funny and
so funny.
Yeah, but yeah, man, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. I really do appreciate it, and I am excited for some new releases from you.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So I'll be following you. I'll be creeping on you.
Yeah, creep, dude. Yeah, yeah. Follow along. I'm really excited for all the stuff that's coming out. Like genuinely, really, like chomping at the bit for this record.
Yeah. Well, I'm
And then the
happy.
next one.
Yeah, I'm happy that you decided to really kind of double down and go for it. And I'm sure your family's really proud of you, and obviously your son's proud of you, and that's just a great thing all around.
Yeah, it is. I'm grateful. I'm like one of the fortunate few who has like family and friends who like want them to do what I'm doing. And you know, a lot of artists and a lot of musicians, it's such an impractical thing to do.
Mhm.
And I'm fortunate that I've got everybody's support, and that's really cool. So I'm excited for them. I'm excited for me to stop catching shit from them as to why I don't have more music out. So it's coming out.
It's awesome. Well, good for you. I'm excited for you.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
Buddy.
Thanks for having me on, and hit me up anytime.
Thanks so much, man.
Later.
We'll see you.
All right. Bye.